I'm looking at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Financial Sextortion reports that you guys have just started to report this year, and they're up dramatically in just 1 year. It looks like nearly doubling, more than doubling.
Yeah, that's correct. Reports of financial sextortion to the National Center have definitely more than doubled over the last 2 years here. A lot of that's coming from more awareness about the issue. We actually coined the term sextortion here at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And we started seeing this trend of kids being extorted online for money pretty much a year ago. And just the uptick was astronomical. It was over the summer we actually met with electronic service providers and really clued them into what we were seeing and encouraged them to start reporting more to us.
Yeah, Gavin, will you, I guess, lay out before we go much more, what is sextortion? And it seems like it's really the most vulnerable are teen boys.
Yeah, that's correct. So online enticement or sextortion is basically any act that takes a kid, a teen, and entices them to share an illicit image of themselves. Oftentimes, it is other teens asking other teens for a lewd image or inappropriate image. But what we're seeing with the financial sextortion side and sextortion at large is bad actors asking children for this illicit imagery. What then happens is they turn around that image or turn around the conversation, and uh, instead of having a normal kid conversation, they extort the child. So sometimes they'll ask for more images. They'll threaten to release the imagery that they have, unless that child gives other, more photos or videos or whatever out there. Or if they don't agree to pay money in the case of financial sextortion. So if you don't give me X amount of dollars in the next X amount of time, I'm going to release this photo or video to everyone you know.
And it seems that it's causing also like mental health issues for those that do, I guess, become victim of this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge mental health issue that comes along with this. I mean, you have to imagine, a 12 or 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid getting asked to provide this imagery or to get money. And, we're seeing some kids that, they do give into this, and we see other kids that go so as far as to take their own lives.
Yeah. As far as coming from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, what are you guys seeing with these reports? Is it typically young boys? Is it teenage boys? What, like, I guess when we're breaking it down, what's that demographic kind of look like?
Yeah, so what the data is showing us now is that teen boys are the most susceptible to financial sextortion right now. We have seen reports with girls as well, and the way it kind of goes down is these kids are getting requests from on the other side, oftentimes what appears to be a very attractive female, asking them to become their friend. They end up being enticed to share a photo, and then before they know it, they're being enticed online. So yeah, definitely teen boys are where we're seeing the overwhelming majority, and it affects every demographic. It's not like we're seeing just, rich kids or poor kids or a certain race. It's every kid of every color. What we're encouraging parents to do is, really talk to their kids about what they're doing on their devices, tell them, about the dangers that are going on. We have a ton of resources here at NCMEC that make it really easy to have that conversation with your kids.
Yeah, and Gavin, kind of looking at this data, I mean, you can kind of see the trends over the past year, and I know that at some points it happens during breaks. During summer break, it looks like these reports kind of climbed quite a bit as well.
Yeah, so the climate reports of the summer was kind of twofold. So the first is electronic service providers, anybody that has social media companies, so on and so forth, they became aware of the issue, what we were seeing here at NCMEC, and it was over the summer. So that definitely fed into the uptick. But the other thing was kids during the summer, they're at home and they're trying to fill time. And, we definitely see an uptick of when kids have time, that's when they're being enticed more. We saw it during the pandemic. That's when we saw a huge spike in online enticement of children, and we're seeing it again during the summer months and during breaks as well.
Gavin, I guess I'm sure for parents kind of listening to this, it sounds kind of scary and maybe even scary to give their teenager a phone, a cell phone, but that's kind of needed in the digital age. I guess from NECMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, what are you guys kind of saying to, prepare this, maybe be able to curb this from a parental standpoint?
Yeah, so at NICMEC, we're never going to say don't give your child a device. We are going to say put good guardrails around their digital citizenship, their digital lives. So, a lot of it comes down to having regular conversations with your kids. Know what apps they're using. Have good conversations about the apps that they're allowed to put on their devices. There are certain ones that may not be appropriate for your child. And I think even bigger than that is have the open conversation about the dangers that are online. We just launched a new campaign called No Escape Room. You can go to noescaperoom.org, and that actually shows you the danger of what happens to these kids when they're enticed online. And it takes you through the day in the life of a normal 15-year-old kid who, you would assume this couldn't happen to him or couldn't happen to my kid. And he goes through the paces. So we definitely encourage parents to do that.